All right. Good evening, everyone. Today is April 28th already. Holy smokes, we're getting through the year quick. So we're going to have Trent tying up some flies today, a couple of them. I know quick bluegill bug and then a couple other items. So we're going to let Trent tie them up. And then once he gets done, I'll start going over some of the emails because we have May coming up and pretty much we have something going on, I think, almost every weekend. So we just need to kind of discuss some stuff. And we actually have Old Man River this weekend. And so just need to talk about that a little bit and make sure who's coming and what time to arrive. So we'll do that after Trent does his fly. So let me spotlight him for all. And all right, Trent, you're up.
All right. So everything's in focus, right? Good. Yep. All right. So the first one, this is just the blue bluegill bully bull whatever. Um, I've got I've got this Daiichi. It's a 2571 size 8 that I'm going to use. You can use any small little bluegill hook. And then I'm just going to put on some. This is a 0.15 lead. And you want this on at the rear of the hook. You don't want to, you just want to, a nice little weight on the back of this hook. So and how much you put on is kind of up to you, how fast you're going to want it to sink and other things. So let's get that lead on there. Thread, this is just some black 70 denier thread, nothing special about it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to come over the top and just really capture that lead because I don't want it moving here in a minute on me. Come up over the top a bit. Just some wraps, keep it tight. All right. Now this is that ultra chenille, real thin stuff. You can use other stuff, but I like this. I like the way this turns out. I mean, you could use medium or small, depending on what you want your body to look like. So I'm just tying in, catching it back here at the rear. And just bring your line forward. And then just touching wraps. Back here, you might want to just put your finger in there till you get it started so that stuff doesn't want to roll off the back end. And basically, you're going to end up with kind of a bulbous rear end on your fly, which is exactly what you're looking for. Come up, tie that off, clip this free. It's like so. I'm going to tighten up those wraps a little better. I'm being picky about my wrapping, but all right. So next thing you do is we're almost done. Is I'm using just some green round rubber legs, a very old now considered a very old material. You could use that silicone sexy whatever they call it. If you
Sexy
want
floss.
sexy floss, there you go. I have some. I've thought about tying a few up with that. You could certainly do that. I'm just spinning my thread, cord that up real quick. All right, come back, couple wraps to tie that in. So those are going to stick up in the front. And then I'm going to come by and clip off about the same amount. I'm going to cant one side, one to the left, take the other one to the right. come back in, capture all of that, and then take the time to wrap up and dress up your head as you want. It's a bluegill fly. You can take as much or as little time on this step as you want. You just want to get that bound down, and then once you have it, you just go and separate them, and you end up with it's almost in a way it's almost like tying a and when I turn my vise, you'll see what I mean. It's almost like tying a parabellum wing with rubber legs. So grab my plunger. So that's the fly head on. And when you throw it, because of that bulbous weighted butt, it just sinks down slow and those legs go moving around and works really well. And
Pretty cool fly.
that's a great little bluegill fly. It's crazy easy to tie and it's really effective. And you know, I've seen it on, you know, I've seen people talking about it. But I remember seeing that fly in back like 1990, um, when it was the first time I remember seeing that type fly tied like that. And so just kind of goes to show there's nothing new in fly tying.
Yeah. No, that was a pretty cool fly.
Yeah, and it's quick and it's easy and you can bang those out and um, you know. All right, so the next one, if I can find the fly, I'm gonna do is this one here. Um,
Mm.
and I don't know that Tony's on. Oh, Tony is on. So Tony had sent me a message and asked me if I could do this extended body. So this is kind of my extended body um, that I'll show you. And I actually already posted this on my YouTube and my TikTok. So if you um, if you have a question or you want to see it tied again, you can always go there or whatever mix recording here. So let's get to this because this one's going to take a little bit longer.
It's a green drake, just to be clear, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I did watch you tie it on the posting that you had. I was going to ask you if you don't have that tool there, and I think I know the answer, but just for everybody's sake, that's a tool for tying tube flies. If you don't have that tool, you can just put the needle right in your vise, right?
Right, right. You could just put a needle right in there, and that will work just as well. And I've seen people use the thing you don't want to do is you just want it to make sure it's smooth, so you can slide off. You don't want any kind of
Next,
um, yeah, anything on that end. So the first thing I'm going to do is this is the thinnest needle with my tube kit, and I'm waxing this with just some normal dubbing wax,
Mm.
and that's only to help get this off when I'm ready to take it off. So I'll just go ahead and start my thread just like normal, just like you would anywhere else you're tying. Well, hold on. I guess not just like anywhere else because I want quite a bit of a tag end on this.
And just so everybody knows, this is my selfish, unabashed request because I'm getting ready to fish Pennsylvania, and it's unlikely that I'll see green drakes, but I have fished the green drakes hatch in the past, and I've never figured out how to tie an extended body green drake. So that's
All right. So let me grab this stuff. This is my materials I'm going to be using. Bring them down here. So let me put that down. Where did I put the fly at? Here it is. on the fly itself, you can see the extended, it's called extended. This is the extended body. This is the abdomen of the fly. And then this becomes the tail. So for the tail, I'm using moose. And I just happen to be the benefactor of a really nice big moose patch that honestly my grandkids will probably inherit because I don't use a lot of moose. And when I do, I tend to use hairs of moose. So yeah, there's a lot there. So I've got 3 moose hairs on here, and I'm just kind of eyeballing what I think I want for the tail when they stick out. And I'm not going to stack these per se. I'm just going to kind of manually get them as close. I don't need to stack them. So then I'm just going to come back, and this is just some loose wraps. I'm not making anything terribly tight. And I'm going to make this part of the body, because this is the abdomen of the fly. This is the tail. This is the abdomen. I'm going to make this just like you would a dry fly equal to the tail that I tied in, right? So I've got that there. And then I'm just going to come back. And these are fairly loose wraps. I'm not trying to get super crazy tight yet with anything. And then I'm going to come right back up to my tie-in point. So all my materials are put away, so I have to get them out now. So the body, I'm using, this is just olive green deer body hair. So it's off the back. So it's got those colored tips and stuff on it. And I'm just going to clip off. I'll show you, I don't know, something close to the size of like a number 2 pencil. Maybe a little smaller, about that size though. First thing I'll do is take my little comb, and I want to comb out that under hair. You got to comb out the under hair on deer hair. And I'm not going to stack anything, but I am going to hold the tips, and I'm going to pull out any of the shorter hairs. I need all my hairs to be the same length. If I got one in there that's short, it'll mess everything up.
Extra help thing.
Question?
Hang
Okay.
on.
Good?
What's that?
Do you want me to shred what you got from Social Security?
Yeah, I won't need extra help.
All right. So now I'm just, the tips, maybe, I don't know, what is that? Not quite a 1/4 inch. I'm going to put it in here, hold it, and I'm going to give it not tight, but some loose collecting wraps. Now that's right on the top of that needle. So now just going to take it and work it around the needle. And don't worry about the orientation of that moose hair because it's going to move, but we just want it sticking out the rear end anyway. Now I'm going to come back, and those were loose. So now I'm going to come back with tighter wraps, and I want it to flare a little bit. And quite honestly, this part here can sometimes prove to be the hardest part of tying this fly, believe it or not, because I want to get all the deer hair bent back, but I don't want to bend back the moose hairs. And getting those in there and working them, around. This takes a little bit of time. Just take your time. Don't get in a hurry when you're at this point. And if you do this and you get to this point and you realize that maybe you've not tied up close enough to your moose tails, because that's happened. It happens to me. I'll get to this point and I'll realize that I'm not quite far enough. for where I want the body to be at. And you just have to come back. Just come back with your thread and wrap it back forward. So there. Now we're here.
Question, could you use just a bodkin to push that all back? I'm not a bodkin, but a half hitch tool to push it all back?
You might be able to. The thing is, you just got to be real careful that you don't capture your, move back
Gotcha.
your moose. So once I'm here, I'm just gonna come up over the top. 1, 2, 2 wraps will probably be fine. Come back. 1, 2. I'm gonna do 3 there. I'm getting a little bigger. And then what I'm doing here is this is the segmentation for my body, on the abdomen of the fly. That's what I'm tying in here. So this, is up to you. But like I said, you want to try and make this abdomen equal to that length. So at least that far. You might want to go a little farther. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna do one more for sure. 1, whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make 6. Because I gotta whip finish this here. So as we've discussed before, I've got a giant Mongo whip finisher. And I'm gonna come in and whip finish that end off. Now you could do this, and I've tied this before, and I've used blue deer hair and made damsel flies to, this way as well. So it's not just a mayfly thing. You can do other stuff with this idea, this pattern. So I like to hit this with a little bit of head cement at this point, where my wrap is. And I'll do a little bit on these wraps just to help hold it. And then I definitely want to hit it on the end, right where that moose hair is. So imagine that moose hair is wrapped, right? But it's wrapped onto that needle. So there's almost like a thread in the middle there. So when you take this off, I've got the moose hair, I've got the tag into my thread, and I've got the deer hair. You just got to be careful when you go to take this off so you don't accidentally pull your moose hair right back through, because you can until that glue on the end sets up, or until you get it all tied off. So there is the tail, or the abdomen rather, for the extended body. Now, I like tying these for a couple reasons. One, because I've got a bunch of fairly good size scud hooks, like 10s and 12s, that I'm probably never going to tie a size 10 scud in my life. And I'd probably be afraid if I saw a size 10 scud in the water. So I use those little short curved hooks for my extended bodies, because the body is back here, right? I just need something for the thorax and for my wing post. That's all I need on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my thread. And I tie this in. And if you've watched me tie, or you guys have seen me tie on here with you guys, I'm all about trying to stay consistent where I put stuff. So when I'm doing this fly, I tie in right where the point of that hook, the spear of the hook is. That's where I'm going to tie everything in at. So all this back here is going to be bare hook. And you can tie it however you want. I'm just showing you how I do it. But so we're back here like so. You can see I got the tail there. then I'm going to take this. Again, you can see I've got the thread. I've got all the materials I used to tie it are still there. And I'm going to use that to bind it down. So I'm going to bind down on that last wrap that I used to put this in. So I come in right over that same wrap, and I'm binding everything down. Now, when this starts to sparse out like that, go ahead and wrap inside of it. You're going to get a stronger wrap. You're going to bind everything down, and it's going to prevent that tail from wanting to roll as you're fishing it, or if it gets hit, or and this, Tony, is a surprisingly durable fly. They look delicate, but they're not. They're a tank.
I fished them and caught lots of fish on them, and they hold right up.
Yeah. So now I'm just going to come through and clip off all that excess stuff. And see, by having the thread in there and the moose and the deer, all those, everything I used to make that is bound into that and secured. And then I'm just going to wrap that nice and tight. And this part, I like to take a little bit of time just to get all that down in there, because if I don't get the deer hair down and trimmed, when I go to dub it here in a little bit, it's going to, it could stick through there, and then I wouldn't like it. So, and I can push that down if I want. It doesn't have to stick straight up like it is. Everything's showing up okay? All right.
Yep.
All right. Wing post. I use white Zelon. You can use whatever wing post material that you choose. I use white Zelon because, well, I've got a bunch of it, and if I don't use it, then I don't know what else I'd do with it. So, let me just find the end. There it is. So I waste a lot on my wing post. When I tie them in, I grab a lot of material because I'd rather have plenty to hold on to than try to skimp myself with it. So just gonna come in on the top here. Clip off some of the looser stuff. And you can see where my wing post is going to be. It's right up, pretty close to the eye of the hook. Which is that's right where I want it to be. I don't want to, I'm not tying it into the thorax, because I want the, when I tie this, and I tend to tie my parachute patterns, I use bigger feathers, because that's really the only thing going to support this fly. So I tend to use bigger feathers, and I like for the parachute to stick out over the eye of the hook. It's just a kind of my preference, but it's something I like. So, and this wing post doesn't have to be, terribly high when you tie it in. So there we go. And I'm going to go back down to the bottom. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tie in the hackle. And for the hackle, I'm using, usually I have all these things pulled out and ready to go, and I can just pick it up and keep talking, but tonight I am not prepared. This is a blue dun, a medium blue dun, although it's a really dark medium in my opinion, but I don't think that there's a color standardizing wheel in fly tying materials because I have a light blue dun that looks almost white. So I question their scale they use. All right. So all I'm doing is I've measured the hook on my gauge down here, or my feather on my gauge, and I'm just getting the feather ready. Now, I'm not, if you guys look at videos or you watch stuff where people are tying and they get that hackle on these parachute patterns and they just look perfectly flat and it's amazing. They're beautiful flies, I'll be honest. What they do to get that is when they take their hackle feather, they strip one whole barb side off. So when they're wrapping, they're only getting that one layer of barbs sticking out, and they don't have that other one that tends to go wonky because it's getting smashed up against your post. So that's how they get that effect. You can do that if you want. If you're tying to get, I don't tie that way, but if you're tying and you want really pretty cool looking flies, that's how they do it. If you ever saw one and wondered, man, how'd that guy get that? That's how he got that. So
I always wondered for sure. So thank you.
yep, that's how they do it. Now I will tell you the thing that I always do. I like, maybe not so much on my parachute patterns because it doesn't matter to as much, but whenever I'm tying normal dry flies, I like to strip a little bit of the quill, a little bit more. And that first start of the wrap, I don't want any quills on that. Because if you do your dry fly and you're tying it in and you got barbles right down at where you're going to start, you always get that one or two that point backwards. And it can be kind of annoying if that's not what you want. So for that not to happen to you, what you do is just start off with a little bit of bare quill, just, a quarter of a turn, and then you'll start with a clean hackle wraps. But, all right. So now I'm just going to dub the thorax or the thorax, of this fly. And I'm using just some, this is just some olive and some gray. I think I made this dubbing with some dubbing mixture that I kind of put together on my own. So I would just want a real light dubbing noodle. You could add wax if you wanted to your line. I don't think this is that super fine stuff or whatever they call it, micro fine. There's usually enough fat and grease on my fingers that I don't need to add anything to make it stick. So come up and over. And this here, this is sparse. You don't need a lot. You just want a decent wrap. Let me unwrap that and tighten that up a little bit. All right. So next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and start the wraps here of my parachute. Now there's a lot of different ways to do these extended bodies. I know there's a big following. A lot of people like to use foam. I'll be honest, it's well established, I think, that I don't like foam, but I don't like foam for that because they're really fat and I think they look cartoonish to me. I just don't like the way they look. So that's just not something I use. So now I'm just going to fold everything back and capture that right there at the eye. Clip it. And don't worry about manhandling your wing a little bit. I mean, one day you're going to tie it on your line and try to stab a fish in the face with it. So, you moving it around with your fingers isn't going to be the worst thing it goes through. Then we clean it up, get that straight. You pokes this wherever you want. If you pull it really tight, if you clip it and you're using Zelon, there's some shrinkage. There's some snapback. So don't, just come in and cut that. And then there is your parachute. Put my hand up.
Very nice.
Let me do it this way. Maybe a little easier to see. There we go. No, I think it's trying to focus on my hand when I put my hand up. There you go. There is a extended body green drake.
Great fly.
And you could use, Tony, you could use the same same techniques and use a brown deer hair and make a brown drake, or
Yeah, if anything, I might be more likely to see a slate or a brown drake emergence going mid-May.
But this will sit, the thorax will be in the water, the hackle, and you can tell it's a pretty good. I mean, it's about the size of, not quite a quarter. It's a big presence, but it's going to hold all that up, and then that tail is just barely, or the body, the abdomen is barely going to be in it. It's going to kind of come up and give you a really cool silhouette for the fish underneath.
Yep, for sure.
Hey,
Trent, I
Trent,
think maybe a deer hair packer, like a hollow tube deer hair packer might, because it'll be hollow in the center, right? Like a Bic pen might help roll it over just a little bit more quickly.
Yeah.
Trent, when I do my extended bodies, I use woven marabou feathers. You ever seen that technique?
Yep.
Yeah, that works real good too. And there's
And there's
also
people-
on a YouTube video that shows you how to do these with spinning it on a needle with silicone as the adherent, to tie it on the hook, and you don't use anything except the silicone and dubbing.
Yeah, I've seen folks use tubes, little thin tubing,
Yeah.
and they've tied that on. And I just think it makes a bulkier tail. I just don't like the I'm looking for that thin, sleek, tail. I kind of settled on this way. Now I have tied them too, where I don't put the mousse in there, and I just leave the tip sticking out.
Sure.
And so then I just kind of make my first wrap, and I do do the segmentations on the tail of it, and I just have the tips of the deer hair sticking out the back end. And that's an option as well. I don't think the fish care, but it's just yeah,
they're fun flies to tie. I agree.
yeah, they're fun to tie, and at the end of the day, I like to find new patterns. I like to challenge.
If you really want to use a fine needle, look up insect mounting pins. Those things are only about a 1/100,000th of an inch thick.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, they work really, really well. They're a little flexible, so they're a little bit harder to work with, but they're really good.
I'll move my camera around so I can see everybody else now.
You could probably actually leave the needle in the body, couldn't you, John? Because it's so flexible and so thin.
It's not that flexible.
Oh,
Very cool.
Great tie. Thank you so much, Trent.
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
All right, let me get through the email real quick.
I thought it'd take me longer.
Oh, it's fine. And I always do the same thing. I always rush through the flies, and that's just something I do. I'll try to get better too. So, all right, let me get through this email, and then I could actually, give Trent another quick shout out. All right. Let me know if you guys are seeing that. You should see it. You guys see that at all? Okay, I see it. Okay, so again, for those of you who didn't know, Trent also ties on TikTok on Mondays, starting at I think what 6. So basically the same time frame we do this call, and I know a lot of you guys are still tying at JB, so you might not be able to make it. But if you look up Goose Creek fly fishing, that's what I like watching on Mondays. So if you enjoyed Trek tying today, you get another day with him as well. And he uses, for the most part, very natural materials, which I enjoy because I don't. So it's neat to see someone doing something different than what I do. And as you've seen, Trent's a very good tire. It's very interesting and a good hour to sit there and watch. I think that's a better compliment than what was given yesterday, but it was amusing. But again, look for Trent at Goose Creek Fly Fishing. Uh, Fishing outings, we do have some coming up. Again, that's just looking at somebody they want to be in charge of fishing outings where they could plan it out for us and do one a month would be cool. Fly tying in person, American Legion Post. This is going to be a big one. This is going to be a change, and this is why I wanted to talk about it. We're going to do this the 9th of May. So not this Saturday, but the following. We'll still do some things kind of the same in the morning, Uncle Bill's in the morning, all that. But we will actually have a guest speaker during this event. It's Ross Bradley from Haywood Fly Company. If you're looking at some of the pictures, he does bamboo rod custom builds, which are just a work of art. Uh, if you ever been able to see one, he was out there at Sawbug. He has one in the display cabinet at Hargrove's. If you ever wanted to see it, they are absolutely beautiful rods. And he has agreed to be there May 9th at the American Legion Post. Who knows what he'll bring, but I know the whole what we're doing on that Saturday is he builds his own leaders. So that's something that we haven't done before. So he's going to show us how to build leaders. I got some of the materials that we needed. So all you really need to do is show up. Since I don't have my camera on, I got clippers, I think like 8 of them that we could share, and then a whole bunch of made in China rulers for cheap. So we are good to go on materials. Just show up if you want to learn how to build your own leaders. Ross will eventually be a guest speaker on a Tuesday, and he'll have a PowerPoint and he'll go over some of the basics of bamboo rod building. Again, that one's going to be very interesting. I want to make sure everyone could join this because this truly is artwork, and it's the things he has are beautiful. If you go to the email, I have a link to his so you could actually see some of the rods he has for sale. He does really good. He builds them in 2 or 3 piece, and he always gives you an extra rod tip because those are what tend to break. So he makes sure he takes care of you. But again, we'll get to meet him on May 9th at American Legion and do some leader tying. Again, we had fun at bingo again. It's just something different for those who want to do it. We're back to third Thursdays of the month, so Frank could join us. So we did fun. I hope you guys could join fly rod building. We will be doing this, but probably not until 2027 until we get a bunch of new people in for the fact that a lot of us have already built a couple rods. But once we get enough people that are interested and new that want to give it a try after learning how to tie flies, this is the next step, and we'll get to do that. Fly rod casting lessons eventually, Roger. If you ever want to get the group out, that would be a fun time. We could do it if we do a fishing event, which we do have coming up soon. Fly tying equipment, anything I bring, it's up for grabs for you guys. We are getting some materials. I try and doing my best to get Tony and Jeremy those items because they're starting up in Columbia. So I think we've got them pretty well on their way. Again, I'll make sure I have enough materials to hand out as well. And then here's our fly tying. We'll probably skip Trent next week because he tied this week. So I'll probably tie the next 2 weeks or something and get us back
Yeah,
on track or something.
next week's our first guest hire. It's Dave Boyer from NAFF is going to be tying next
Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah, and I'll send you that stuff, Mick. But he's agreed to tie next Tuesday, and I've got 4 or 5 other people in the near to intermediate future. I'm going to tie. Chad Johnson emailed me today, and he's agreed to tie as well for us. So that'll be an exciting one.
Streamers. Yeah. Yeah, because Chad has got some beautiful streamers.
Yeah,
I've seen him tied in person and just
crazy.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So we got
And
some
I've
cool stuff coming up. You don't
Yeah.
have to listen to me all the time.
Good. I think probably we'll have, at least one guest hire a month for the next
Yep.
4 or 5 months.
Yep. So cool things coming. So that's awesome. I'll update this and Tony, once you get me the info on what he's tying and all that, I'll try to get that out. Even send a link to YouTube. So if you want to get a heads up on kind of how he's going to be tying it, we'll do that. So Zoom meeting doesn't change. Here's a calendar. Again, I got to change this. This is actually Wednesdays now at Omaha. I know I changed it right there, but I noticed I need to change it. So tomorrow we have our Omaha call. Just a day change. So the meeting passcode is still good. And then we'll be doing our Tuesdays. So this Saturday, May 3rd, None Left Behind event at Old Man River. For those of you who are attending, arrive at 8, and then we will be teaching between 9 and 10:30. I will have 5 of our program, our socket rods, and I'll have some of my own. I don't know how many we will have showing up. I think some of the list, I think it looks like we might have about 5 of our members showing up. And I think there might be 16 signed up for veterans for this whole event. And it's just not fly fishing. They have several other things going. So we might get all 16, we might get 6. I don't know, but I think when people start seeing this, they get interested real quick. So I'm thinking we're going to be kind of busy. So we teach for an hour and a half, and then after that, we could fish. Carl, Scott, and I have fished there before. Beautiful lake, and we've seen some big bass pulled out of there. So good fishing if you want to come on down. It should be a fun day, helping others and then enjoying ourselves as well. A week after that will be the American Legion post that I told you with Ross Bradley as our guest speaker teaching leaders. And then I think the 16th and 23rd we have off. But then I'm thinking the 30th, let's try to get out and some fishing, and that's a nice day trip is I'm thinking Lane Spring on the 30th. So just kind of putting that out a little bit early. I know we got Paul out there too, so maybe we could start trying to pick up some of those blue ribbon streams to get anyone who's interested in the slams, we could look at that. So that's May in kind of in a nutshell. If we want to do anything on the 2 weeks between the 9th and 30th, something we could do. I'll be out of town on the 16th, but 23rd, we could do something if we want, even if it's something local at Bush Wildlife or something. So that is pretty much everything we have there. So I will stop sharing, get everyone
Nick,
back. Yes.
did you say that it's Saturday for the Old Man River? It's Sunday.
Sunday? Okay. I might be off on my times. Let me double check.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Yes, Sunday, the third. For
Okay.
some reason, it is the third, which is a Sunday. So,
Okay.
yep, sorry about that. So you got Saturday off, and then who knows? I'll probably do a little bit of fishing on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll have a good time. So, yes, Sunday. I'll have to double check, look online, and try to find some stuff on the other vet fish free dates for like Merrimack and Montauk.
I think I was going to say one of the guys that's in our class. I think he said that Montauk's is September 12th.
Okay, and
That'd be
that would be a good one. And I
yeah,
haven't fished Montauk that often, so I would love to go there. I really don't get that much time out there, so I would love to get back out there.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. And then Merrimack's usually a free for all. I know Dominic Delia usually holds that up,
This year.
and he usually has a bunch of free food and everything and gives a giveaways. So his giveaways are a little bit strange, but still fun. Last time I was there, he gave me a machete. Why I needed that for fly fishing, but he gave me a machete. So it's like you never know.
And that's on
Every
a
once in a while.
Sunday. That's on a Sunday this year, June 14th at Merrimack.
At Merrimack, okay. So
You got some bushing to do.
yeah. And then, well, I mean, at Bennett, Vets Fish Free, they were giving out a dozen eggs, so you guys missed out. I've already eaten those up. They were good. So, uh, good time. So, okay, last 10 minutes, any go backs or anything like that? How's everyone doing? Anyone need any?
The tippet rings from Moonlit
Yes.
Fly Fishing, for his $8 for 25, really nice tippet rings.
Cool. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I bought those cheaper ones that have
Dr.
edges.
Fish.
Yeah. And they're actually not perfectly round. They actually have edges. And I noticed that I was losing fish where it was just putting an edge on and cut through the line. So
Yeah.
I like putting those on my thread jigs because everything I use is barbless. So anytime I try to do a second fly, I can't tie to the bend of the hooker. It slips right off. So that's why I started using the tippet rings. So you do have to be careful on what you use, but it's also hard you can find really good quality ones, but man, you're paying
15 bucks for 10.
of them. It's like, man,
15 bucks for 10. Yeah.
yeah.
And
And then stuff makes a jig fly get really expensive quick. So
Yeah. And if you call him and ask him for a high quantity, he might give you a better discount. So
yeah.
So
Yeah, good stuff. Trying to think of else anything going out. Weather has been a little bit crazy, so I know fishing is going to be at the trout parks a little bit nuts for a couple weeks, but as quick as they go up, they do go down. This is April showers for Mayflower, so this is that time of year. So May's coming around the corner. Hopefully everything will kind of calm down. The rains will still be here, but not as bad. We won't get the blowouts. We should have some good fishing coming up. So probably something that we could do again 1 week if somebody doesn't want to tie. We haven't done in a while, but it's fishing gadgets again, since we talked about the tippet rings and all that, where if anyone has any cool gadgets that they want to discuss, like, I've got even, this right here, it looks like little pliers, but it's, you grab deer here and then you could make a gubbing loop out of it, and you could actually do a weird kind of deer stack with it, and I saw that. That was pretty neat. So maybe
I
we'll
got
do
that
one of
Telwiga
those.
device. I got that
But
Telwigo device, that Telwiga device, Telwigo Co.
yeah,
The thing that you can, it's a threader, and then you use there's a little tag end on it that you can then, it's got hook end to hold your hook so you can make your knots and stuff. I got
yep,
one of them. So,
yep. So
well,
we'll
I got
probably do
toys.
one of those soon. There's so many cool gadgets, and I'm missing some of mine where I have to get more of those magnetic pencils from Tom Colley again. Uh,
Mm,
if you ever see, yep, there, Rob's got one right there. Those
mm,
things are awesome. I got to get more. If you go to uh, Larry's by the park, he charges like $3, but Tom gives them to me for like $1 a piece. So I
mm.
got to go bug Tom and then get those out. Those are really good for when you're trying to put beads on hooks. It kind of just hooks right to the hook, put the bead on the palm of your hand, and it just scoops right in, makes it real easy if you're trying to, grab hooks. Pretty cool
Did
little
you
tool. So
did you ever try that multi-access bobbin cradle from Dynaking
multi.
that I sent to you?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I didn't know
It's
what
kind of
that's what
cool.
it was called, but
Yeah.
so not only do I get back and forth, I get up and down movement with it. So yep. So little things you could add. I didn't know that's what it was called. I know it was Dynaking because it's stamped on it. So that works like a champ. So instead of just side by side, I could even just push it down and work and then bring it right back up. So that's a good one. Thank you for that. That was much appreciated. Okay, any last goes before I let you guys head out?
Mm-mm.
I think we're good. I don't see Scott. One of the things that Scott wants to do, and I was looking on it, is I want to get a little propane burner stove thing for camping. He really wants to do a bluegill trip where we catch them, cook them, and clean them right on the shoreline. So I'm looking to buy that real quick. So if anyone has one and wants to suggest it to me, let me know because I'm looking on Amazon and there's a whole bunch of different ones. I don't know which ones are good or bad, but uh, kind of looking at one that's almost looks like it'd be good enough for a turkey fryer, so it should heat up that oil pretty quick. So,
I've
but I
got
think
one.
that, do you?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one for turkey fryer. I've got one that I use for fish fryer. I've got the regular two burner.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
I've got one. I have to go out in the garage and look and see and tell you what brand it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've used it for exactly that.
If there's one that you're like, yeah, that's the one you want to buy, let me know because I would love to have one and just bring a cast iron pan and a little bit of oil and just sit there and do a quick fish fry with the bluegill.
Well,
They're
that's exactly what I used to. I live on the lake, and when both my sons lived here, I mean, I did it out in the grass specifically because it made such a mess. And the oil's
yeah,
kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, I get some cheesecloth for your little cabin down there, so you can reuse the oil over and over. But
yep.
I used to do that all the time, and after the boys moved out, I pretty much put it out in the garage. But I'll give it to you.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I
No, I mean I
appreciate it.
haven't used it in 3 or 4 years.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, I'll give it to you because I haven't used it. It makes such a mess that I don't use it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
would love, and I could give you some of my winnings from bingo. We didn't tell you that. I tell you guys to come play for bingo, and I
Yeah,
won $100. So,
yeah. I will bring it
oh,
to the
68.
Saturday thing. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but
We'll run into you.
yeah, get you a. I'll have to see what I have left of it because my girlfriend periodically sneaks things in the trash can, but I know I still have that. So
Cool. Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate that. 'Cause I'd like
yeah,
to see who wants to go out and we could catch a bluegill. We'll clean them up real quick and fry them up. So,
yeah.
all right. We have 2 minutes, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Again, if you need anything, please reach out. Easiest way is texting me here. Uh, email, I'm hit or miss. I'm just kind of busy at work, but phone calls are kind of tough, but if you text, I can kind of sneak those in at work as well. So best way to get a hold of me. So again, if you need anything, let me know because then I could be on the lookout. If you need materials or anything like that, just let me know. So all
Thanks,
right, Jeff.
Trent. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
something wholesale fly company says are up for sale.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, wholesale fly company available for sale.
Well,
Uh-oh.
I think that tells you all you need to know about their business plan.
Not surprised at all, based on what I've tried to order from them in the last year.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That kid, yeah, that kid got in over his head. I met him at Salbag last year, and he was a nice young man, but I think he just got in over his head.
Yeah.
I just saw that because I saw some notices come across that they're raising tungsten prices 400 to 500% across the board in many places.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so with beads
Yeah.
and all that, it's what
Yeah,
used
that
to be inexpensive is just going to hit everyone. So
yeah, that I got that from Feathercraft, and I just got it from Dakota Angler just now.
You know,
wow.
we fished with brass for like 100
Yeah,
years.
we did. It seemed like
You know, there's nothing wrong with a brass. I mean,
some
somewhere
le-
I've got a.
hey, some lead wraps, before brass, that's what we used was some
Yeah,
lead
there's
wraps.
nothing wrong with brass. It doesn't have to be tungsten.
You
So
can still use glass too. I'm using
yeah,
glass as an intermediate weight
There,
with
yeah.
copper.
there's a funny thing called a split shot.
Yes.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah. Tony, you being a Pennsylvania guy, I'm sure you've heard this, but Joe Brooks famously said the
Difference
difference
between
between a good day and a bad day of fishing is one split
one
shot.
split shot. That's right.
So there you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
we use split shot all the time. We used it at Bennett, and I caught 4, missed 3.
Yep.
I mean, even in that flood, we actually had decent fishing there. I thought I couldn't catch
Yep.
crap in clear water or get muddy water. I caught something.
Yep.
But if you're new to fishing, I do want to warn you about a split shot and a weighted bead head fly. They start in a whipping action
Yeah,
sometimes, and you can find out real quick that may not be how you want to cast. So
Yep.
be careful if you decide to try that.
For sure.
Yep.
Make
All
sure
right,
it's both.
gentlemen, you
All
guys
right.
take care. And
Yeah.
good night. We'll see you soon.
See y'all later. Bye.
See ya.